Hey everybody, this is Cameron from Obnoxious and Anonymous. How are you? Today is Sunday. It's 8 o'clock at night, so it's kind of late. It's August 23rd, 2020. I realize, though, that Joey has not been on here in a while, and he has not given us his theories and speculation about these Twin Peaks rumors and gossip. So, Joey.
Yes.
Gut instinct right now. Is this just another get our hopes up moment, or do you feel like something is generally happening? It is the 30th anniversary, by the way.
I mean, I know they said that if anything was going to happen, it'd be a couple of years. Well, we're already 3 years after the finale, almost, of season 3. Obviously, I don't think they're filming anything this year, and maybe they are. I don't know. Doing everything in secret.
They can't be doing anything with coronavirus.
But, you know, this is a good time to write, at least, I would say. Lynch and Mark Frost did things over Skype most of the time anyway with season 3, as far as I understand. So I think maybe this was sort of opportunistic with COVID. They're like, we could write during this time. We could do the season 4 or, you know, return part 2, re-return. I don't know, whatever they want to call it. The re-return. And that could open, you know, maybe they thought this would be a good time to do this. So if anything, they're writing it.
Do you think Lynch's videos are giving away clues, or do you think that's just a bunch of BS?
I have not kept up with all of them, so I'm not entirely sure.
Well, because people they read into like what he says and does, and he talks about electricity, and he's got jars that look like scorched engine oil, and he's been pulling out the number 8 a lot and things like that.
I mean, I could see something like that. He likes doing. See, with him, it's weird because I think he would do something like that, but he also likes messing with people. So I think I don't really know how to take it.
This is a new Lynch trait, because when I was growing up, David Lynch didn't do this kind of stuff. I mean, yes, we didn't have YouTube back then, but he didn't do this kind of stuff where he would like be teasing, like, I'm going to be making a movie and it's going to be called Lost Highway. I mean, like, you just would find out David Lynch has made a film. It's called Lost Highway. It comes out in 1997. You know what I mean? Like, there wasn't like this need to like tease, provoke, you know.
I mean, it kind of fits his MO now of Mr. Everything's a mystery, or keep the mystery going. You could just put that hot dog at the end of the stick and everybody will keep running.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what we were talking about before we started recording, is like Jim Belushi putting out cherry pie. It's like, okay, is that a reference to something, or is it just something like, well, he just wants some likes from Twin Peaks people, so that's an easy target? I mean,
it could be either. I could see the Mitchums coming back for a new thing. He seemed to like them, but also it could be nothing. It could be, hey, I remember Twin Peaks or Twin Peaks guys. Hey, look at me. I don't know. It's hard to say. There's nothing substantial.
My theory is this about Jim Belushi: even if Twin Peaks does come back, the Mitchum brothers don't. Don't they seem like they're just at the end of their arc? Like, there's no point. They're left in the sheriff's station like this was all just a dream. It's like there's some sort of Wizard of Oz characters. So it's like, why would you even remotely bring them back?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like Lynch liked the Mitchum brothers a lot. I feel like they were in a lot of that show more than the original Twin Peaks people.
Sure.
So I could see him working them back in, but there's no reason to at this point. But I could see him, you know, wanting to get, you know, the Mitchum brothers back for whatever reason.
Maybe they'll come back for a cameo, but I can't imagine them dominating the proceedings and conga lines and stuff like that.
Unless we just, focus on Dougie and Janie E again, and totally forget about everything else.
They're done. That whole subplot's done. There's no reason.
I'm sure. I'm messing around, but
and you can't have Candy come back because you need everybody else to come back. Then you can't have one of the girls. You have to have all 3 of them.
See, I don't know. At this point, I don't even know what I'd want season 4 to be. Do we continue from where we left off, like the Carrie Page stuff?
You better believe we start off where we left off. I mean, you can't tease that and then just be like, meanwhile, 55 years later, But I don't want a whole thing of like the sheriff's department having to, go through time and find Cooper. Like that would be like, do we really want to do that again? Come on.
I guess we got to find out what year it is, right?
It's 2020. I mean, here's the thing. I said this earlier today. I was a guest on Twin Peaks Coffee Time, and I said this earlier today. I think that whether you don't like parts or all of season 3, I do think that given the current condition of the world in 2020, I think it works better this year than it did in 2017. Just because this is a hell world we're living in at the moment.
I mean, it would make sense because, he goes, what year is this? Everything is like extremely quiet. Everybody's in their homes. I don't know. I mean, everybody could have been in their homes no matter what. It was nighttime, but maybe he's like, oh, there's something wicked in the air. I don't know. Cooper senses are tingling.
Jamie's here in the chat. She says, my gut says something. And did Cooper find Laura? One could argue that he didn't. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. But I do think that Carrie Page and Laura Palmer will be revealed as being the same person.
I think it's like the Laura is dead kind of thing.
Right. She just got morphed into something else. I mean, the feeling I get when I watch season 3 is that Judy's last trick was to move her so that they couldn't find her. And then he found her anyway. So,
yeah, it wasn't. He went to Judy's.
Although
to find her.
Although I heard this theory. I heard this theory the other day that said, "Are they going to find a diary page that says, last night I had the strangest dream. I was a woman living in Odessa, Texas, named Carrie Page," or something like that.
I could totally see that happening.
And
I worked in a diner and
yeah. I would literally run out of my house screaming if that happened, though.
I mean, Laura never worked for Double R. It was just Meals.
She did the Meals on Wheels.
Yeah. So I don't know if she ever had some kind of secret want to work at the Double R or something.
Oh, you bet she does. She wanted to spy on Shelley and Bobby.
I mean, if that's true, then she could have totally wanted to work in a diner and had a dream about working in a diner, but it was all warped and, people were kind of rude and, how Laura gets all everything gets all dark.
That would have been that definitely was a missed opportunity in Firewalk With Me. We didn't get any R-rated Bobby Briggs, Shelley Johnson action. They hinted all the way through the series that they're hot and steamy for each other. And now we get an R-rated movie and they don't do anything with them.
Nothing. Yeah.
Missed opportunity, Mr. Lynch. Missed opportunity.
And that's probably one of the better side plots in the show. That whole
I love
Bobby,
it.
Leo,
with Leo out there with his shot arm and his rifle out there just waiting, it's great. And then when he takes out Waldo, that's amazing. I love it. They have one eyewitness. It's a minor bird. I remember though when I first watched the show, I'm like, is the bird saying Leo no or Leland no? But it is Leo. But it gets awfully close.
Close, yeah. It's again another one of those Lynch things where he likes a little bit of wordplay. That's not totally. It doesn't totally make sense, but it's close enough.
Well, how many Mike and Bobbies are in the damn show? You know what I mean? There's 1,000 of them. So then Sabrina Starlin put out there on social media today that she's learning Mandarin and she needs people to practice. I searched the comments just to see how many Twin Peaks fans would be like, I know Mandarin, because they want to get one step closer to David Lynch. But what I saw was nobody knew Mandarin, so that was good. At least they were being honest there.
Sure.
Now my question is, why does she want to know Mandarin? Is she trying to broker a deal with China and Lynch to do something over there?
I don't know. she's accepted our upcoming.
Well, I mean, let's be honest here. There's plenty they could do in Twin Peaks over in Japan. I'm sorry, China.
Yeah.
I'm saying China.
Both.
Well, yeah, both. But I mean, you could. There's so much material just exploring Josie's past and all the Hong Kong stuff with Jonathan and all that. I mean, if you really wanted to go there, you could.
I mean, yeah. I mean, with the return, you expanded it to pretty much the whole United States.
And
if you want to, you really could just, make it global.
It is global. They make it. Mr. C has a house, in
South America.
Yeah, and all that. So
I mean, Firewalk With Me, I guess, made it global.
How?
With the Philip Jeffries stuff.
But
Argentina.
in the theatrical cut, it's not. They don't even go to Buenos Aires. It's only in the fan edit or missing piece.
I suppose.
But I did love the fact that there was method to the madness why they released those missing pieces, because those missing pieces expanded into what season 3 was going to get into. So they had to release those missing pieces, or else if you just went by the theatrical cut, it wasn't going to make any sense.
It's true. See, now I just think of the Buenos Aires scene as part of it. I don't even sort of no second thought to it. I'm like, yeah, that's when they went outside of Twin Peaks for the first time, or besides,
Deer Meadow. Okay, so what do you think about Sherilyn Fenn's tweets? Do you think that she's going to be writing a book about Audrey Horn? Is she hinting that there's going to be the David Lynch Audrey Horn movie? Are they going to do Mulholland Drive, the series, with Audrey Horn like they originally were going to? Have her
I think a book is likely. I don't know about an Audrey series.
She keeps saying memoir, so and she's been
seems like she just wants to write it in character, I guess.
And she's been posting pictures of her and Jennifer Lynch, so I almost wonder if could they be writing a Secret Diary of Audrey Horn together?
I mean, that's possible. That's what I want. I want this supplementary, I don't know about diary, but maybe she had a diary, whatever. But
so here's a question for you. Sherilyn Fenn publishes a book about Audrey Horn. Is that a day one release for you?
If it is co-written by Jennifer Lynch.
If it's not?
If it's not?
If it's just Sherilyn Fenn writes the book?
I don't know. I feel like it'd be conjecture. It's just her thoughts about the character and what happened to her. I mean, I don't know. That's a different question then. It's what is the ownership of the actor that plays the character over the creator that created it? Or what line is there then?
Remember that featurette Between Two Worlds where David Lynch is talking with Ray Wise, Grace Zabriskie, and Cheryl Lee? Mm-hmm. And they're in character, right? At one point, right? Lynch wrote that for them. They didn't make that up. So he even had control over what they said at the table.
Yeah, so I could see Lynch having, his Jennifer work with her to make it sort of make sense and kind of still live in the world, and without her kind of going off and making it whatever she thinks it is.
But
that's the only way I'm really buying into it.
But could you argue that Mark Frost did that, and that's why Lynch dismisses it as well, that's Mark Frost's version of Twin Peaks? I mean, what if they just say it's Sherilyn Fenn's version of Twin Peaks?
I mean, you could say that for anything, but Mark Frost is also the creator, so I don't think it's equate. He also helped create the characters and stuff like that. So I think his is just as much as Lynch's.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think about Cheryl Lee writing an essay in that Laura's Ghost thing about Laura Palmer? Does that bother you, or is that just kind of that's just her thoughts on an essay rather than a first person book? If it is indeed a book.
I mean, it doesn't have to be total, and it doesn't have to be totally canon. She could just, days in the life of Audrey Horn, and while she was going to school or whatever.
Where she was during Firewalk With Me.
Yeah, something like that would be cool. Like, what was Audrey doing during that whole time? That would be cool. I'd be interested in that. What was she what was she setting up during that time? But I don't know. I'm not crazy about it. It'd be interesting, especially if Jennifer was working on it with her, or at least was consulting her, which might be happening anyway. But I'll check it out eventually.
What about the Mark Frost interview book?
I have not read it yet.
Is that one you're going to plan on getting eventually?
Possibly.
Yeah. I'm just curious because you did purchase the VHS set.
Oh, yeah. I have it right next to me.
Well, pull it up. Show everybody what it looked like back
This is different. This is like just the thing.
And that's just season 1, correct?
Yes, this is just season 1.
Yeah.
Still apparently in the original wrapper. I don't know if that's true, but...
Let me see. I can tell you, because I own those.
All right, here's episode 2. I don't know if you could see.
Yeah, those are the original. Cool.
So I think that's pretty cool.
Oh, absolutely. The sound is excellent on those things. I mean, yes, it's VHS, but still, it's. I mean,
I believe it.
They didn't do that for season 2. They only did that for season 1. Season 2 got released like 5 years later in that giant VHS set. And if you ever made it through, I think it was like around tape 6 or 7. All of a sudden, episodes would start getting repeated.
Really?
Like, there was no quality control.
Yeah, I was hesitant buying that one. I feel like having season 1 is nice, but I don't know about the rest.
So, for those of you who are interested, the Artisan season 1 DVD set, which I had for a while, and I ended up selling it because I was like, well, the gold box is coming out, and then the Blu-ray set was coming out. I'm like, all these extras will be ported over. None of the extras got ported over. So I was looking for it, I finally found it on eBay for like $5 with free shipping. $5 free shipping. So the person's like making nothing on it. But that's the only Twin Peaks release that has actual legit commentaries on it.
That'd be nice to have.
Dwayne Dunham and Leslie Lincoln Glatter, and I think a few others. I think Tim Hunter too. I mean, it's pretty good.
I'll have to see if I can find some.
I'm sure you can find it, and if you can, it's worth getting. Let's see, we got a couple of comments here. Gary North is here. Says, I don't remember seeing that box in the UK. I had all individual VHS tapes. Well, that was a different thing. UK was different. They also, here in the States, they used to put them on Laserdisc in bundles. Season 2, I believe, was like, I think it was like 4 bundles, each one retailing $300 each.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's one thing if you wanted the Madeline Dies episode, but imagine like purchasing the Nadine Goes to Wrestling class for $300.
No thanks. I mean, I'm a fan, but
you're not a real fan. You're not a real fan, apparently. So
no, I'm not real enough, I guess. Fake fan.
Yeah, you are. Let's see. Where we go? Oh yeah, here we go. Let's see how we can do this.
Yeah, I don't know what we're getting.
Let's see if I can do this here. So, if you look on this side here, you have, look at this one. Look at this cover of like Cooper like getting a hamstring pulled and like falling on the Black Lodge floor over here.
Some of the covers for the VHS were bizarre too. I don't understand the art for some of these.
I remember seeing these in Suncoast, $295 each.
What's going on in that middle one? What's all those like beads on the floor of a checker? Like, yeah, the that middle one there. It looks like there's marbles on like a checkerboard floor.
Oh, let me look. No, it's the traffic light and the card.
Oh, is it?
And the cards and the coffee.
Oh, I see. It looked like just marbles from my perspective.
And then this one over here has Cooper and David Lynch at the diner, sitting there at the counter. So very bizarre stuff. Oh yeah. Yeah, you know what? The thing is, though, is that I want to believe. You know, I'm a fan. I want to believe something's happening. But we've been burned how many times in the last 3 years?
That's why I don't even want to comment on it because I feel silly.
I think it's this. If it's not a Twin Peaks related project, then David Lynch is just going to do something else for Netflix. It's good. First of all, let's be honest. It's going to be for Netflix, right? There's no reason why he would release that dang monkey movie on there and nothing else.
I could totally see CBS just giving the license to Netflix. They get a big bunch of money, and
I don't think it's gonna be that. I think it's gonna be like I think it's gonna be something like his Antelope movie that he wanted to do, or it's gonna be something. But here's my question: do we want? Of course we do, but I'm saying, do we want David Lynch to spend the rest of his life, his creative life, doing Twin Peaks, or do we want him to just make anything?
I don't think he's just coming out with one more thing. I think he might be doing multiple things.
Probably.
I think there's going to be probably more Twin Peaks, but also something else.
I don't think he's going to direct all the Twin Peaks if he does it.
I mean, I'm cool with that.
The smartest move they could make, and I'm not saying this because I don't like Lynch, the smartest move he could make is tap some of those big directors. Get Tim Hunter, Leslie Lincoln Glatter, Mark Frost, David Lynch, and just do like an 8 to 10 episode thing. Spread it out 2 episodes each, and then he doesn't have to stay there all the time, because season 1 was multiple directors, and it came out amazing.
I mean, it's possible he'll do 8. I mean, if he's teasing 8, maybe he'll just do 8, and he can direct all of them. It won't be as tiresome as doing all the as many as he did for The Return, and he might just have more stamina to direct those. But if they're doing a full season, tap some other directors.
I mean, so let's think about. I mean, David Lynch in the early '90s, he was doing a Fox show, Twin Peaks. They did Firewalk With Me, On the Air, Hotel Room. I mean, he was just moving. I mean, he's kind of become Kubrick for the last 20 years, where it's like he makes a film every decade. But it's not like if you watch his YouTube channel, it's not like he's stopping being creative. He's creative every day. Just what else can he do right now?
It could be more than one thing at this point. Maybe they're working on writing Twin Peaks. Maybe he already had something in the works before coronavirus happened. I don't know.
He absolutely did. This coronavirus just slammed everything to a halt.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't even do the Graceland. I'm now of the belief that they were going to announce something at Graceland. You don't just do Graceland and then walk away. That would be almost on the level of doing 2 Comic-Cons and saying nothing.
I mean, we thought they were going to announce something at Comic-Con, but at their own Twin Peaks festival, I could see definitely announcing.
I didn't think they were going to announce something at the first Comic-Con, but that second one, it was like, why are you coming back?
Yeah. It was bizarre. It was really bizarre. That's still bizarre to me.
We kept waiting for the Amy Shields announcement, and it came after the fact on Twitter. So,
yeah.
Mr. C was not amused that night, let me tell you.
I remember.
Steve Owen says Twin Peaks season 4.
Potentially.
Okay, so let's say season 4 comes out. Obviously, it could be about anything. I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. I hope it is completely Cheryl Lee focused. I hope it is entirely either Carrie Page, Laura Palmer, whatever you want to do. Make it Cheryl Lee and make Cooper her Dr. Watson.
I'm with you there.
I mean, I love Kyle, don't get me wrong. But I think it's time for Cheryl to get a little sunshine.
I think, even, I mean, if there is a season 4, I can imagine that'll probably be it. But
It'll be it of the original series people. It will be the Star Trek: The Undiscovered Country, like the final episode. Then CBS and Showtime will do Twin Peaks Voyager or Discovery, whatever they're gonna do, and just go off in their own direction.
I mean, if Laura Palmer's the one, I mean, I guess they kind of ended the last season with Laura Palmer, but like, give her a final arc. Or do a mystery, leave a final mystery, a Laura Palmer mystery for everybody to chew on until they're dead. I don't know.
I would love to see at least a portion of it be or maybe it begins this way. I would love to see a recreation of the pilot of the original series, but Laura's not dead. She's missing.
I would love to see that, but there's so many people that aren't here anymore.
But they can recast.
I don't know, Pete. That's so. That would be so hard to recast Pete, and he's such a big part of the pilot. I mean, she's dead. Like, I mean, he possibly not. He goes fishing, and then that's it. That's his involvement is over.
No, that's what I mean. Imagine a de-aged Cooper coming to town to investigate the disappearance of Laura Palmer. I mean, I think they waited too long to do that if they were going to do that. That would have been
everybody's that'd be a lot of CGI or de-aging going on. You'd need Irish. I mean, if you get it done at Netflix, they have the technology. They can make it happen. Well,
the Irishman must have cost, almost $200 million. So
yeah, it's a de-age all those people for some reason.
Jamie says reboot. And Steve says, yes, Laura Carey as the lead. I think so. I think that I think Cheryl Lee got crushed by the reception and the box office of Firewalk With Me. I don't think she was really given a chance to shine much after that. I don't think a lot of filmmakers were ready to gamble on her.
Which is unfortunate.
Right. So I think Lynch kind of owes it to her to give her a big moment.
I'm with you there. That's why I think you gotta end. Started with Laura dying, end with Laura doing something.
Steve says more exploration of the theme of possibility of returning home. Bill says Carrie is shocked into remembering that she's Laura. Roland says Twin Peaks season 4 will be a reboot of season 1 with new actors with Zac Efron as the new Coop. I was joking about that for years, saying that before the return was announced that we would just get an eventual reboot and we'd have like the Melrose Place babes and hanging out under the falls and just like, Karen West and a new person here says, I'd rather there be new directors like me and Corn Pone Flicks and Wow Lynch Wow. No offense, Joey.
Wow.
Why aren't you where is Twin Perfect? Twin Perfect made a 4.5 hour video. He's not thrown into this group.
No, I mean if you hire me, you're getting 30 episodes of Pine Weasel plot. So
Oh dang.
We're going full Pine Weasel with me, so
I just want 10 minutes of John Justice Wheeler snacking on a carrot.
That's it. I'm getting Billy Zane back. We're doing a Pine Weasel plot arc.
On my Instagram, I put up a picture of the Pine Weasel and I wrote "Never forget."
See, that's where I'd come in. I want to know what happened.
But do you remember months ago, Michael Horse was posting that picture that with the telling Annie shh and all that. Remember, it's like, so I think there's been things in the works for a while, but they just weren't expecting COVID to show up and stop everything.
I mean, I could see that totally being a possibility.
Steve says Pine Weasel tastes like chicken. That's a lovely comment to write. And Neil says, would it follow on from the final dossier? No, the answer is no. Lynch won't even acknowledge the final dossier, so don't.
I still want to do my short based on the stuff from the final dossier because I think there's a lot of good stuff there that definitely deserves some opportunity.
So my film that I'm working on, obviously deals with Annie and some other people, Caroline, Wyndham Earl. I made that because one, I wanted to for a long time, but also I felt compelled that I could do it because she wasn't really touched on in season 3, and final dossier talks a little bit about her, but for the most part, like everything was cool. If they come out with a season 4, it's like I never set out to make my film as competition. Do you know what I mean? Like I wanted to just kind of be its own thing.
Mm-hmm.
And if they say, "Oh, Heather Graham's joined the cast," I'll be like, "Oh my god!" Then my film will be in competition, and that will make me feel really weird because that's not at all why I set out to make it. Like
you want it to just kind of
just be its own thing.
Tell the extra tell story that hasn't been told, and kind of. And that's what I'd want to do too if I ever did something like that. Just take this little bit or take this character or the situation, expand upon it, and tell that story. But
yeah, so I'm hoping if they come back, listen, who doesn't want to see more Annie? I do, but I feel like I will be like sweating over here, like like oh my god, like I don't want there to be fans to be like, well, I prefer this over this or something. I don't want to start those conversations. That's not why I set out to make the film at all. Bill says, what if Laura is back after all these years only to see what's happened to her town and friends? Could be interesting. Well, that would be interesting because there are 2 mentions of Donna Hayward there's one earlier in the season, but there's 2 in episode 17. 2 references to Donna Hayward when she's not even really referenced at all in the rest of the season. So
besides the picture,
and then they leave in the entire conversation with Laura and James from Firewalk With Me where she talks about Donna. They didn't have to. They could have cut that out. They could have had Cooper looking at them from the distance and then just come back later in the conversation, but they left that in for a reason.
I mean, are you my best friend? That, come on.
I just want it to be called Twin Peaks, I Am the Muffin.
I can totally see that. That scene where Gordon opens the door and she's crying in the doorway, that's from the Are You My Best Friend scene, isn't it?
It is. Only they brought her up and then they brought her up and then they stretched her out so she looks like she's 500 pounds. She looks like Gwyneth Paltrow in Shallow Hal in that moment.
Oh my, yeah, that was a weird edit. I didn't totally get that.
And what's really weird too, she completely dissolves out of the picture where she's gone, and then when it cuts back to the shot of Gordon, she's still there, and then she disappears again.
There's a couple little mistakes.
I don't know.
I've been noticing when I've been rewatching it.
They did that kind of stuff on purpose, but it just drives me nuts. Like
when Sarah is watching the animals eating each other or eating other animals' lions. You can see the camera in the mirror. Well,
there's cameras all over the pilot. I mean, in the pilot, you see David Lynch in the sheriff's station, in the window.
Oh, right.
So,
I love finding little stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, of course, Sarah watching the animals details what she's going to do to that trucker later in the show. She's going to eat his neck out.
And that also is a parallel to a scene from Wild at Harp where Lula's mom is also doing the same thing.
No, Harry Dean Stanton is in the hotel room.
Oh, right. Yes.
But he barks at the dogs. It's kind of a comical moment. It's not like, well, this is weird. What is she doing?
She's kind of reveling in it.
Yeah, and it's very graphic. I watch a lot of nature documentaries. I don't really remember nature documentaries being that graphic. crew members to like go film that in the wilds of Africa or something like that, because I've never seen Nat Geo.
Sure it exists.
Oh, I'm sure, but like that was I mean, they really, you could tell they went in there and made that blood red. They cranked up that that color in there.
That pain and suffering.
Dethroner X trying to ruin the night by saying Twin Peaks bloopers and continuity errors can't all be intentional, though. That's true, but the thing is that when you have a dissolve of a character that's disappearing, that is a effect that you are purposely putting into the film, right? It's not a so like if you show it disappearing in one shot and the next shot the image is still there and disappearing, you purposely put that effect in that next shot.
Yeah.
So let's see here. Adamo's here. Hello, Adamo says, if a season 4, Philip Jeffries could be a real actor as creepy as the mystery man or the cowboy, because the teapot thing doesn't cut it. Don't call it a teapot.
That's one of the things where I don't know. I still don't know how I feel about it, because it totally looks like a teapot. I get it's supposed to be a machine, but steam coming out of it, it looks like a teapot.
I do think Jade has a better chance of coming back than the Mitchum brothers.
Oh yeah, because she's she's killing it right now.
I remember how much thought we put into like her finding the key and mailing it back to Ben Horn, and we were like, oh wow, that's gonna show how there's a time space difference, because the key will arrive in a different year or something like that, because it all seemed like Rancho Rosa was taking place in another year. And obviously that went nowhere.
That key thing was like conversation for weeks. Oh, who's gonna get the key? Who's gonna get the key?
402 continues to be depressing in here. Says the only way there will be a season 4 is if another director takes charge. Lynch, I think, is done with Twin Peaks. He may be done with Twin Peaks, but Twin Peaks is not done with him.
I don't think Mark Frost is done with Twin Peaks.
I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I think if Twin Peaks does come back, and I do think it will eventually come back, but if it comes back sooner than later, I do not think Lynch is going to be full on. Like, I think he's going to executive produce it, let's say, and probably start it off, direct the pilot or the new episode, and maybe come back to do the finale, and then let everybody else do the middle.
That's what I think. It depends how long it is. I think if it's a shorter season, he'll do the whole thing. But I think if it's like a full, like almost 20 episodes, I don't think he'll do it.
Oh, hell. There will never be 20 episodes.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying. I could see him doing 8. I can't see him doing another 18. But maybe. I don't know.
This is what I do. If there's another 18 episodes, I'll watch the first 4. I'll come back in like 8 weeks and watch the next 2. And then I'll watch the ending. Because that middle section just go on and on. Let's see what else we got here. Roland says the only man that could play Agent Albert now for Miguel Ferrer would be Brad Dourif in season 4, who worked with David Lynch in Blue Velvet and Dune. So that's a possibility.
Yeah, I could see him. I don't know if he'll play Albert, but he could play another agent.
I don't think that Albert is back. I think they'll be done. Lynch has a lot of respect for people. Yeah. 402 says the cowboy would be a great addition to Twin Peaks. I got news for you, ladies and gentlemen. Lost Highway, Mulholland Drive, Lynch may not say it. It all exists in the same universe. The mystery man in Lost Highway is straight from the Black Lodge. Dorothy Vallon singing in front of the red drapes and Blue Velvet. I mean, it's just, there's a common denominators in all the work. Henry Spencer in Razorhead has the Red Room floor as his hallway floor to the elevator. It's all there.
In one way or another.
Even there was that meme going around where somebody found, it was amazing. I thought, wow, that's really cool. I always thought she had like blown out just cheeks, but they said that the lady in the radiator is the atom bomb from Eraserhead. That's her head. Her head is the
Oh,
atomic explosion.
that checks out. I always thought it was some kind of like weird like growth or something.
Yeah, I thought it was like some like moon cheese or something like pouring out of her face. I don't know. Gary North says, I still want to know what
Atom
happened.
bomb baby.
I still want to know what happened to the guy in the prison cell pulling his face off.
Oh, right. Bill or whatever his name was supposed to be.
The one that was like mocking everybody that like nobody else heard. Like that was the crazy thing is like if you watch those scenes again, nobody acknowledges him ever. So I'm almost thinking he's like that woodsman in the jail cell from the earlier in the season that like he's there but he's not there. He's just there to torment NATO.
Yeah, she was the only one that could hear him, right?
I think so. Neil Barker says, how confident are you that something is definitely happening for new Twin Peaks? Okay, well, here's the thing.
20%.
I have been shouting for a while that I feel like something's happening. But then nothing is said, either to confirm or deny. But we do have some things that are interesting. Michael Horse throwing the thing out about don't say secrets out loud. All those websites picking up the stories a few months ago. David Lynch continues to tease. Mark Frost continues to tease. Sherilyn Fenn continues to tease. Kyle MacLachlan, how many articles are going to come out saying, I haven't been asked about doing a season 4, but I would do a season 4. Like, who writes articles like that? Unless it's like, 3 years after the fact. That's ridiculous.
And would he actually tell you if he was doing one?
But what it does is it keeps it in the news. It just keeps it in the news. I mean, nobody's like, well, I would love to do another Lost, but no one ever asked me. I mean, that's not an article you see online. You know what I mean? The Graceland event. Here's the big tell. The Twin Peaks festivals are closed down. CBS took over the Twin Peaks festivals when they do ramp up. Why would they do that for a show that doesn't exist?
A show that doesn't exist.
Right? I mean, like, why would you do that? Why are there all these Lynch approved merchandise coming out with these t-shirts? Why does Showtime keep amping up more merchandise? You know what I mean? It's like the show is done, right? So why does things keep happening like this?
Somebody's buying something.
Sorry, my nose is just itching like crazy. Steve Owen, trying to be funny, says no one is ever gone. Oh, Rise of Skywalker reference there. So how confident I am? Look, I will say this. I think Twin Peaks will come back regardless. In our lifetimes, it will come back. Absolutely. It's too big of an IP to just leave it alone. How confident I am that something's going to happen now? I'm going 70%.
70.
Yeah. Now, that could be anything. That doesn't mean the season 4. It could be a 4-episode Carrie Page arc. It could be books. It could be there's going to be something official in the Twin Peaks canon.
Okay, I'm with you there. I think even if it's not a show, there will definitely be supplemental things that come out for sure.
Dethroner X says David Lynch calls actors by their character names, so Teapot and Evolution of the Arm prove no one else can replace them except Donna. Steve says this will happen. Nelson says hi from Argentina. Hello, Nelson.
Hello. No.
Roland says my friend Amy got engaged in Twin Peaks yesterday. She posted the pics on her Facebook. Well, congratulations, Amy.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I do think that something will happen eventually. I've been saying that for a while, and then nothing happens. But again, if nothing's happening, why are we doing all these teasing? It doesn't make any sense.
I mean, I think if like I said before, this whole situation, this quarantine thing, has granted them a great opportunity to just sit down and write something, which plenty of people are doing right now. And if they were doing it over Skype before, they're sure as hell doing it over Skype now. So
hell, I'd be really excited for like a Twin Peaks animated series. Like I would love, because then you could just do the voice work. And
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that'll happen, but
no, it'll never happen. But I would love that to happen.
I could see, like, I mean, if there's teasing going on, I could see them making calls like, "Hey, can you be in this thing? We're gonna, we have some ideas for, I don't know, maybe one of the Mitchums. You want to be in this or something like that."
Okay, so here's my question: will there be meta material in this new incarnation? For instance, will Cooper come out of the woods saying that he was running for his life because he was pursued by a bear? I just want to know. Do you think they're gonna like throw in crap like that in there?
I was pursued by a bear, and then somebody holds it up for about 15 seconds and shows a bottle, and then they continue with the show.
See, why isn't Kyle doing that kind of stuff instead of the Georgia tea? Or Georgia coffee? Why don't they do like pursued by bear commercials with him as Cooper? Because that's right, Cooper doesn't really drink, so.
Oh, I guess that would be out of character.
And that would be hilarious, though. Harry, I got it. Pursued by bear wine. It goes perfect with our donuts that Lucy sets up for us every night, and yet we only see once in the pilot. Okay. Like
this Syrah goes especially well with the jelly donut.
They make it so clear. Lucy sets this up for us every night. You never see it again. Yes, you do see a line of donuts in the season 2 premiere, but that's midday. That's not at night. Unless they just left it there overnight.
Nobody was hungry that day.
Let's see. 402 says the teasing is getting annoying. The last time we got teased, I was so excited, then nothing. I just can't do it again. I feel your pain, my friend. I feel your pain. If it comes back, great. If not, I won't be disappointed once again. Win.
I'm gonna say there hasn't been anything crazy substantial that's like, oh yeah, I'm putting my chips down, but it's a lot of it's a combination of things over the last
cumulative effect. It's a cumulative. Yeah. Gary North says, well, he could have finished the Firewalk With Me cut that Sabrina talked about in 2015.
That's possible. That could be what it is.
Okay, if that was the case, are you happy or not happy?
I think it's I think it's a Firewalk With Me with new footage. Like a freak Frankenstein Firewalk With Me.
Now, Sabrina told us that there wasn't any new footage from Firewalk With Me, that it had all been using the missing pieces, and yet then that night there was new missing pieces footage in the show. The shots of Leo and Jacques waiting for Laura. Those were not in the Firewalk With Me missing pieces.
Well, I think that, and also newly shot stuff that they're gonna put in after the fact and make this like crazy new thing.
I hope so. I hope they do a full-on Back to the Future too, with like Cooper in the background and listening to the scene of Laura and James and all that. I could get on board with that.
Firewalk With Me too.
Yeah, I'm the muffin. FWWM2. I am the muffin. That is the next Kickstarter right there.
And it's the first shot is Lynch dropping his phone in the toilet, and he's like, "Oh, not so smart."
No, he would be, damn. Steve says Red could have a bigger role as the villain. You mean the grandson, Mrs. Treeman's grandson? That's who Red is.
Yeah, I guess we have to address that too.
Yeah, sorry, my nose is just itching. Neil says Al Strobel also tweeted the other day teasing about Twin Peaks. Well, I would love to come back. Let me tell you,
he was pretty much in the whole thing.
Oh yeah.
So I guess he would know probably better than most, I think.
He's just like begging, can we please, can I have a line where I don't have to say it backwards? Please. Gary North says, Firewalk With Me, redo. Like Apocalypse Now.
Redux.
Firewalk With Me, the final cut. Roland 666 says, I'm calling it now, season 4 hitting 2023 with 10 episodes and a TV movie for later in the year.
I think a movie is very likely.
Do you think we get a movie instead of a limited series?
I think if it's going to happen, and I think a movie is very likely.
So it's going to be the Carrie Page movie.
I think it would be a good, second to Firewalk With Me.
Now, the reason why I say Carrie Page movie is because when he was at the Emmy screening for the Twin Peaks finale, he said that he's been having a lot of thoughts about Carrie Page.
I think it would make sense to do a Carrie Page movie. You give Laura Palmer the movies. You make Laura Palmer movies, and then the shows are Cooper-centric. The series is Cooper-centric, and then you make the movies about Laura Palmer.
Jamie says she would like it to be called Twin Peaks Gone Like a Turkey in the Corn. That could be good. It's a little long. It's a little long.
TPGLATIT.
402 says season 4 has to take place in the world that Carrie Page and Cooper were in at the end. Those few moments in that world really intrigued me for some reason. That ending was great, but we need more. So did you see the Cooper post the other day about being past, present, and future? So they said that Mr. C burning the chair is in the future. They said that Carrie and Richard are in the past, and that the Dougie Jenny Jones, Janie whatever is in the present. So that's the past, present, future. Do you think? Okay, let me ask you. Do you think that Richard and Carrie Page are in the future? Is that the future of Twin Peaks with Alice there, or is that the past of Twin Peaks with Alice there?
I think, and I don't think it's either. Honestly, I think it's probably an amalgamation. It's like a timeline collide thing.
I think it's an alternate dimension.
Yeah, it's something like that. Where like there's going to be things that are similar and things that are different, and it's going to be like a weird mix.
You can't drive from Texas to Washington in one night. Sorry, folks. But
is that a 20-hour trip?
It's longer than that. It's 10 hours from. Let me think. No, it's 13 hours from northern. Let's see. For me to drive from my house to Twin Peaks is 16 hours. So think what Odessa, Texas is. It's probably a couple of days. Yeah. I do think it's an alternate dimension. And I do think it's interesting that it's like why are they showing this random gas station stop? You know what I mean? Like this, well, they're at a convenience store. It's like, yeah. Steve says that he believes it's an alternate dimension too because we never saw them pass back into Cooper's reality.
Yeah, I mean they say it can all be different, which dimensions can be the same or it could all be different. So you go by string theory and all that stuff.
Dethroner X says, I think the could-be's don't matter because Lynch goes by subconscious ideas that he chooses consciously instead of consciously deciding the ideas so he can't predict. Here's the thing. I know for a fact that I am pretty much 90% wrong half the time when I come to predicting what Twin Peaks is going to be because I'm operating from a storyteller's point of view. And while Lynch is a storyteller, he left that big part of him as a storyteller back in the 80s and then early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
His movies today do not tell the tight constructed stories that Elephant Man, Blue Velvet, Wild at Heart, the Twin Peaks pilot were. Now his films are sprawling, open-ended, things.
I mean, it's not too difficult to figure out what he's going to do, though, because a lot of the stuff, especially in Return, if you look at the transcendental meditation stuff, if you read even his book, Catching the Big Fish, a lot of that stuff is present in the Return, and in Inland Empire and Lost Highway.
I mean, the Frog Moth is in one of the Twin Peaks books from the 1990s.
Yeah, the tour book.
Yeah, the tour book. Nelson says there are several fronts to cover: books, music, series, or film. Apart from the extras, I now have in mind the small interviews as a bonus of the first season, in which they told some anecdotes. 402 says, oh yes, Carrie and Richard are definitely in another dimension. Lewis says they should go cartoony like Star Trek. So 402 says season 4 will probably be structured like Inland Empire in season 3. I don't see him ever going back to the way Twin Peaks was in the first 2 seasons.
No, that's definitely not happening.
No, because you would acknowledge then that season 3 was wrong. If you go running back to the traditional form, you're kind of acknowledging that season 3 was an outlier.
I talked about this the other day when I did a Twin Peaks video. I think what Twin Peaks was always supposed to be is what we got in Firewalk With Me and The Return. I think if the original series had landed on HBO instead of ABC, we would have gotten something like we got.
And you know what? We wouldn't be still talking about it today.
Probably not. It would have been that pure heroin, like they said, and that would have been one and done.
Hotel Room was made for Showtime, and look what happened to that thing.
Even I couldn't tell you really what happens in that, honestly.
I mean, it's interesting. I'm glad I own it. I think you can watch it on YouTube. But Lynch directed 2 out of the 3 episodes, and didn't even air his episodes. They just combined this one 90-minute movie and said, "We're done with this." So, and that was at a time when Lynch decided to just slow everything down to a snail's pace. That carried over into Firewalk With Me. Although it was much more successful in Firewalk With Me, it is a slow film.
I think by the time season 2 came out, he was already in that mood.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that whole opening of season 2 with Senior Drill Cup is, I'm thinking I might do a video. This will probably piss a lot of people off, but I might do a video of the 10 best and the 10 worst things about the entire series of Twin Peaks. But I will go for some serious deep cuts. I'm not talking about, oh, well, it's terrible, Ben Horn doing the Civil War reenactment. That doesn't make my list.
Yeah, that wasn't really a problem for me either.
I mean, it's well acted, it's well written, it's well directed. Did it need to be in the show? No. But is it bad? No. James and Evelyn wouldn't make the list. So, I mean, my list would go a lot deeper than the standard things that people have problems with Twin Peaks. So, let's see. We got a few more comments here. Nelson says permanent micro stories also in season 3, with everyone at the booths.
Yep.
That's what I call a get up and use the bathroom moment.
He really loves putting those micro stories in there.
I know, but now that you know that they're just there, and I really don't care, because it's not like you're emotionally engaged. Usually it's actors that aren't really the best actors saying lines that are very weird and stilted, and it's not going to go anywhere. So I'm going to get up and get some ice cream.
A couple notable people, Sky Ferreira, the itchy armpits. Yeah. It's just visceral for visceral. I think visceral's sake. Obviously, has issues. Then you have Charlene Yee screaming on the floor.
That's different. That's not the same as people sitting around talking about work gossip. At least Charlene Yee's like, isn't it weird that Charlene Yee and what's his face? What was his name?
Michael Cera.
Michael Cera, that from Paper Heart and Knocked Up. Here they are together again. Random and strange. Dethroner says, we have the Billy story that may continue because David said that's another story. Well, the Billy story is in Inland Empire. That's a carryover.
I didn't know that.
Because no one
cares. I know
cares.
You said that.
Because
where's Billy?
Nobody, no offense. I mean, I'm glad if you like Inland Empire, but nobody cares about Inland Empire.
I've only seen it once.
I respect Inland Empire. I love that he made it. I'm glad that he was able to be so, artistic and work with Laura Dern in that capacity. That movie never, ever, 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 ever should have been that long. And even though I knock it, I will knock Inland Empire over and over and over again. I still went out and bought it the first day it came out on DVD. So
I will watch it eventually.
And if it comes out on Criterion Blu-ray, I'll be the first. I'll pick it up first day too, because I like a lot of things about it. Still is probably his worst movie though. Do you have a worst movie for David Lynch?
I mean, it's probably Inland Empire. That's the only one I've seen once. That's the only one I was like, I don't need to go back to that anytime soon. I'll probably rewatch it. It's been a good 10 years since I watched it, but
I dare you to go more than 10 minutes and not get up and do some jumping jacks to stay awake.
I'll see. Maybe I'll do like a stream when I watch it.
I saw that in the movie theater. It was a completely packed house. I mean, it only sat 40 people, but it still was a completely packed house. And at the end, it starts fading to black, and then it comes back. But when it faded out to black and it came back, I literally was like, "Oh my god, it's still going!" I said that out loud accidentally in the theater. I said, "Oh my god, it's still going on," and the whole audience erupted in laughter.
Yikes!
So, 402 says, "Do you think that there were any of those wow moments in season 3 that were in almost every other Lynch work? There were lots of moments in season 3, but nothing that wowed me." I think there was a few moments that wowed me. The woodsman pacing outside the convenience store. The editing in that is insane.
Yes.
And I think the tone, the writing, and the pitch perfect performances of the restaurant scene with Dougie and the Mission Brothers and the older lady and the music, because it was one of the few times the music was actually in the show. I think that the Mr. C Daria scene in the hotel room is as best as David Lynch has ever directed a scene with actors. It's great. It's great. I'm trying to think what else. The thing is, though, is that here's the thing. David Lynch usually could come in and out of a Twin Peaks episode and be like, "I'm going to take this episode." And there was cool moments, right? I mean, the Madeline death and all that. The thing is with season 3 was that he had to direct everything, the big moments as well as the mundane moments. So it's like he couldn't just do the glory moments. He had to do the Viva Las Vegas limo ride. You know what I mean?
That's true. I mean, almost anything with the woodsman was a wow moment for me. This is the water. I don't know, that just stands out in my head, like him just cracking that guy's brain and then going on the radio and that going to everybody. I was like, oh shit, what is this? That's
fine. But in terms of the pudgy ones, tiptoeing through the dirt to get to Matthew Lillard, that's a no. That's a no. But the woodsman coming out of the woods to to bring back Mr. C. On Blu-ray, it's astounding, but on Showtime, I couldn't see what the hell was happening.
Yeah.
I remember
And
going,
the music in that, it's just so frantic and there's so much tension. It's like, I don't know what to look at. It was hard. Yeah, it was hard watching it on TV, but now it's just like you don't know where to look. It's like it's just overwhelming.
yeah. Other wow moments for you. What do you got?
Season 3, other wow moments.
Mm. I mean, let's be honest. There is nothing except for the atom bomb and the woodsman. There's nothing. I mean, I'm saying this as a fan of season 3. There's nothing that rivals Madeline's death. That whole scene.
Yeah, that one definitely just kind of hold your breath through that one. I guess I don't know. I don't know if I was ever like, wow, like I saw that, but
well, Jamie says the whole fireman sequence with Dido sending the ball to Earth. In terms of music and performance and the black and white imagery, episode 8. I think
it's all episode
8. He was just completely inspired. I did read Blu-ray.com actually got off their butts today and reviewed the A to Z box set or Z to A box set, and they said the 4K, which I haven't seen yet. They said the 4K pilot in episode 8, it's all right. They said there's no HDR.
Yeah, I know. I watched them and it wasn't HDR, so it just looked like the upscaled versions of what we got. And I think that the show was only shot in 2K anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So it would have been upscaled. The only thing that could have been true 4K was the pilot, because they could have scanned it 4K. Otherwise, it's being upscaled.
Steve says Laura being saved was wow. It was a wow. And then 10 seconds later, she was missing, and Julie Cruz was singing, and it was the end of the episode. But that moment, that initial moment of him holding his hand out and saying, let's go home, yes. But much like Agent Cooper running in to tell Freddy to stop the Bob ball, you were like, "What? That's it? It's over? What happened?" It was like it was so fast.
Maybe one of the lesser wow moments, but the one that I still really love is when the Polish insurance guy gets out of his car and shoots Hutch and Chantel down.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
Well, it was a wow moment because it was like, wow, David Lynch is like mixing Tarantino with the Coen brothers at this moment. Jamie says, I was wowed by the tree scene with Steven and Gersten because how much vulgarity there was. I was shocked too. Like, it was very vulgar. What's wrong? 402 says, I was definitely waiting for something to match the killing of Madeline. There was nothing that came close to that. Probably Madeline's death is the most disturbing thing ever seen on the networks. Very possibly.
I think that's probably just the standout scene from Twin Peaks, maybe period.
Top says Mrs. Palmer taking her face off. Nah, that didn't wow me.
That's what I'm still trying to think of. Maybe another big one, but
definitely one of the worst moments of all Twin Peaks is Lorraine getting killed by Ike the Spike. That scene was way too violent for a character that we knew nothing about.
Yeah. Rip his hand off.
Yeah, that was silly. Let's see.
I mean, I really love the purple scenes with Nido and like that also had that choppy editing.
This is getting ridiculous now in the chat. People are now just saying every scene that was in season 3. Not every scene was a wow moment, folks. Let's be honest here. Do you know what a wow moment is? A wow moment is where like you're like, this is no one else could do this. Like stop in your tracks moment.
Yeah, that's why I don't think I had many like where I was like stunned. Besides, I didn't expect episode 8, so that has most of the wow moments.
even okay, so a wow moment for me, and this is such a low wow moment, but because this is the filmmaker part of me. In episode 4, when Albert and Gordon are having their conversation in the blue scene, one, it's a great scene. It's great written. It's greatly written. The acting's flawless. But to go from that moment to the Roadhouse music, it's just a great transition. And you just end that episode like in awe, because you think they're talking about either Diane or Audrey or someone, but you're just like, Lynch nailed that transition like perfectly. And I think when the 2 hour ended too, the
chromatics, oh my god,
when the chromatics ended the ending, or the first 2 hours, you were like, oh, I can't wait for the next part. Like you were on board.
That I think is my like, I could still watch that first 2 hours and still feel that same way. It nailed it. I could watch it, and then the second you start hearing Shadow come on, and then everybody's in the bar, you're like, okay, this is I'm in. Still,
I love the scene with Cooper and Nido in episode 3. Where they're in the fire room.
Yeah,
but it's not a wow moment for me. I mean,
I was thinking that too, but I don't know if it's wow.
It's not a wow moment. It's what is going on? This is really interesting. I like this. But yeah, definitely the Woodsman, just because that's just crazy. I hate saying it because I do like it, but there just wasn't, nothing with Ben Horn wowed me. Nothing with Audrey Horn wowed me. Like, I love seeing those people, but nothing wowed me.
Well, it's like we're saying, it was very slow. It was all of it was very slow. Even the high action points were very. Even when the Polish, insurance guy or accountant, whatever he was, shot them, it was very slow. He just got out of his car, pulled the gun, and then that was it. And the car even slowly just started moving backwards. Like, it was just. I think there's no wows, and I think it's kind of intentional. It's just like this chaos just happens now. That's kind of what season 3 was.
I mean, Zombie Kid didn't wow me. Nido turning into Diane made me want to barf. So
I mean, I think it's part of it though. Like, why aren't we more disturbed by this stuff? It's like that's kind of, I think, part of what Lynch was trying to say. We're giving you all this crazy stuff, and I bet none of it's landing.
If you wanted to wow me, you would have changed the Cooper Diane sex scene to Cooper and Laura in the motel room. That would have been a wow moment.
Yeah, that would have been a lot of. I mean, that would have been like nuts. Because Diane, we're like, okay, we have to get on board with this character now, and this means something because he talked to her this whole time, I guess.
And also episode 4, because it's right before the blue scene. That whole interrogation scene between Mr. C, Gordon, and Albert and Tammy, flawless. It's flawless, just the voice work, because it's going through the speakers, so it's changing Mr. C's voice, and just like,
down a couple octaves.
It's so good. It's so great. That's the thing, is I think as much as I love so many aspects of season 3, and obviously episode 8 is its own thing. Episodes 1 through 4 promise a show we don't get. I think it builds to a show we do not get, because once the Dougie thing happens, it changes everything. But those first 4 episodes build and build and build and build and build, and then the show flatlines for a while, on purpose. But it does flatline for a while.
I mean, because they're setting up this big adventure, like Cooper's big adventure, in those first 4 episodes, and then you get,
he's flying through time and space and landing on glass boxes.
Non-existent, yeah, like.
402 changes the subject, says the jitterbug scene from Mulholland Drive was a wow moment. See, now you're getting into the Lynch stuff. And yeah, in that jitterbug scene, is not in the original pilot that was added for the movie, because it completely tells you what the movie's going to be about, the doubling and everything like that. Benjamin says, I was wowed when Chad was eating 2 microwave meals.
So was everybody else.
I was wowed when I was reading the end credits and I saw that his name was Richard Horn. And they didn't tell that to us in the show. We had to read the end credits for that.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, what?
Okay.
Yeah, Richard Horn exploding on the rock was interesting. Undeclared Nation said, Joey, it's time for you to go to bed.
Probably. But
I
haven't had a good Twin Peaks talk in a long time.
Is this your governess? Dethroner says, wow, moment for me and Cooper, or was it Richard superimposed and Cooper trying to get things done as his stream is ending till Richard wakes up, ignoring episodic nature and seen as the film? I see where you're going with that, but he's not Richard at the end because he keeps acknowledging himself as Agent Cooper. Like, Richard would acknowledge himself as Richard. He even like reads the letter and goes, Richard.
Yeah.
He introduces himself to Carrie and Alice Treeman as Dale Cooper.
I mean, whoever Richard was, now he's full of Cooper.
I agree with Gary Norris. As episode 1, Hawk walking through the woods and getting the phone call, the music and the atmosphere were spot on.
Yep. That's those first 4 episodes, I dare say, were pretty perfect.
Okay, Rob reminded me of this. The wow moment of Matthew Lillard's interrogation scene. That is a wow moment. But that's not a wow moment of filmmaking. It's a wow moment of, I haven't seen Matthew Lillard this good since SLC Punk.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I still love those scenes. Just him like grabbing his head, like his bald head, and he's just like running his fingers over it. So unnerving.
I completely disagree with Steve saying he's Richard and Judy Steiner. Not my.
I get what he's saying. He's like, because he's not Cooper. He's not like, quick Cooper and logical, methodical Cooper.
Well, the reason why I will argue this is Cooper in the original series has no access to his dark side.
Mm-hmm.
His dark side is Mr. C. But once Mr. C is taken care of, I think Cooper makes peace with that dark side, and he's now a more well-rounded character. So now he's got both aspects of him.
Yep. He has the fear.
Let's see. Ben says, when you mix Evil Cooper and Forgive, you get real Cooper from the last episode. I think that's what I was kind of hinting at.
Yeah.
But
because I mean, the thing that tells you that is when he puts the gun in the fryer, and he's like, "You might."
That's the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
Like he doesn't care. That's like definitely a Mr. C trait where he's like, he cares a little bit enough to tell you to watch out, but he didn't care enough to not do that.
Why is he doing that? It's the most absurd thing ever.
Because he doesn't care. He's the new Cooper.
Yeah, but the bullets could explode in the.
Yeah, but he's in Texas. He's in the Wild West. I'm gonna put this gun in a fryer. Why not? It's Texas. Everything's bigger in Texas.
Well, yeehaw.
Yeah, you have yeehaw Cooper there.
Yeehaw. That'd be amazing.
Cooper with a Stetson.
You know what would have been badass though, if he didn't have his little dictaphone, if he had a phone, and he was able to communicate to Diane from the other dimension, and she was trying to walk him back.
Talk to the owls.
Ben says a love letter is a bullet in a fryer. Dethroner says, do you think kill 2 birds with 1 stone means Cooper wearing the ring on C and now we have Richard version, or do you have any other meaning? I think that giant scene with Cooper is actually season 4, not season 3. Because when he mentions Richard and Linda, Cooper already understands.
Yep.
Of course, at the time of the series, we were wrong, of course. But at the time of the series, I want to make it very clear, we were wrong.
Sure.
But because Mr. C attacked Audrey, and because Cooper had sex with Annie, I thought Richard and Linda were going to be the products of both things. I thought Richard was the product of the Audrey assault, and Linda was going to be the product of the Annie scene.
I thought so too.
And the two birds with one stone would have been both Coopers producing two different kids.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that they mentioned that they name dropped Linda in the car as being an American patriot soldier who was in a wheelchair. And then there was an episode called This is the Chair. So we all thought we were heading towards that. We were wrong. So I just want to make it very clear. 402 says, if the Vortex actually took Gordon away, that would have been a wow. You mean that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Rob says, what about the tree in the Black Lodge with the little man? The evolution of the arm? Ben is just going for it tonight, isn't he? Is it the Bang Bang Bar or the Roadhouse? Okay, so apparently there's a deleted moment from the pilot in which Michael Onkeen's character says, it's the Bang Bang Bar, but we call it the Roadhouse.
That's how I interpreted it.
Okay. But the fact that they didn't include that in the show, I mean, it's non-canon. Do you understand me? It's non-canon. So what it is the Roadhouse is the establishment, and the Bang Bang Bar is within the establishment. There are a lot of buildings you go to where there's a bar or something like that inside that building. That doesn't mean the whole building is called the bar.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the Roadhouse becomes the Roadhouse sort of after hours. That's how I took it too.
Nobody in that series has ever called it the Bang Bang Bar. When Jock answers the phone in Firewalk With Me and in season 3, it's Roadhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody calls it the... Laura Palmer doesn't say we're going to the Bang Bang Bar. Come on.
Well, because if you're going for a certain reason, you call it the Roadhouse. The kids go to the Bang Bang Bar.
Get your mind out of the gutter. Robert says
That's what it is.
Robert says the Bang Bang Bar is the unofficial version. That's great. That's great. I love it, love it, love it. Carl says, hold no bars. Is that a dark reference, Carl? Thank you, Benjamin. He says, I would love to know what a One-Eyed Jacks is up to. See, that's my other thing. Jerry Horn, this is nonsense, him running through the woods acting like a freaking pothead. He should have been running One-Eyed Jacks. Ben should have had him running One-Eyed Jacks.
Yeah, but he also, Jerry gets into schemes. He definitely would have gotten into like cannabis or something. Surprised he didn't.
It would have been great. He pulls down his pants, and his dick looks like the baby in Eraserhead, and it says, this is not your dick. I would have loved it.
No, thanks. I don't want to see any of that. It's a CBD store now. One-Eyed Jacks is CBD shop, smoke shop.
Dethroner says, what is your meaning to Cole saying, is there a one in there while looking into the vortex, and is it linked to the one chance out and Laura is the one? What?
Oh, is there one in there? Does he say anything during that scene?
No, he's just shaking all around.
Yeah, I don't remember him saying anything.
Benjamin says, One-Eyed Jacks with legal pot equals money pit. Absolutely.
I mean, it's Washington after all.
Robert says letting Jerry run One-Eyed Jacks would be worse than Freda running the casino and Godfather. That would be true, but that would be great character drama. It'd be much better than watching people sit in a booth at the Roadhouse and talking about Billy. Rob says,
What about everybody loves Steven?
Oh, that freaking character. Jesus.
Everybody loves Steven.
That's the worst. That could be the worst line of the whole season 3. From the 2-hour pilot.
That's the only thing that ruins the first 4 episodes, because it seems like they set up Steven to be a good guy, and then he turned out to be a scumbag.
I don't care about that. I just want to know, if you're going to bring up everybody loves Steven, then why do we have a scene of Mike turning him down for a job? Do you know what I mean? Like, Steven should just be getting everything handed to him.
Yeah, he's extremely unlikable. I don't know anybody that's a fan of Steven.
Gary says, Jerry always came across as being on some heavy gear in seasons 1 and 2. I was expecting him to be totally messed up in season 3. I was right.
I mean, yeah, he's...
Yeah, thank you, Ben. Show people love Steven at least once in the show. Rob here says, I thought the town of Twin Peaks was called the Bang Bang Bar. So this is my answer to that.
Bang Bang Bar is, Twin Peaks was the old name. We needed to get rid of Twin Peaks. It wasn't catching up to all. Everybody was leaving Twin Peaks. We needed a young, youthful crowd. So we just called the whole town Bang Bang Bar, and everybody's constantly hammered, and everybody's itchy and a little sick, and it was actually a terrible idea. And
you see now, you see this picture right here?
Yes.
This is from my upcoming film I'm making.
Oh, what's that film?
It's called Queen of Hearts, and we have a lovely couple here that should not be on a date right now, but they are.
I know this isn't. I'm guessing this is supposed to be in the 80s at some point. Maybe not. Definitely not 2020, right?
I think it's 1905.
1905.
Yeah.
Wow. Period piece.
Yeah. That's where the budget went, my friend. Let's see. Carl says Becky can't get enough of that drugged up pillow talk in the car.
She loves him.
And then they just dropped that subplot like it was last week's lunch.
Same with Hayward, and that's it.
Ben says, my favorite line in season 3 is Ben Horn saying, "Is that mother's hat?" to Jerry.
They were still just as funny. I give it to them. They didn't miss a beat. They were just as funny as they were in the original series. They were the most grounding thing about Twin Peaks. Like the characters in Twin Peaks, Jerry and Ben, I'll take that show any day of the week.
Oh, absolutely. They were great. There just wasn't enough of them.
Definitely not.
Jamie says that picture from Queen of Hearts is my favorite still I've seen. All right. Well, just for you, Jamie, I'll leave it in the film 1 second longer. Steve says Twin Peaks has fallen apart by season 4. Top says, what exactly was Mr. C's mission anyway with the coordinates?
I thought it was like to find Twin Peaks. It seemed like towards the end, like they needed to go back to Twin Peaks.
This guy is an international criminal all over the world, but can't find a town in Washington.
That, where he came out of. Wasn't that what he texted the coordinates to? Yeah, it was to get to Twin Peaks, right?
He should have. They should have done like Lost and had. Did you see Lost? Right?
Yeah, I saw Lost.
They should have done it where they moved Twin Peaks. They literally like moved it like out of the.
Well, he only gets to Twin Peaks after he goes into the whatever, if you want to call it, the White Lodge, black and white room, whatever, wherever the fireman was. He goes there first, and he's in the trap, and then he shows up in Twin Peaks. So they let him out.
Gary says that scene in episode 1 with Ben and Jerry was just like watching season 1. I agree.
Mm-hmm. Love it.
Ben says Hawk should have been the sheriff. Thank you, Ben. I agree.
I don't know how he wasn't. I guess Harry never really stepped down, but you think he would take over in his place instead of his brother out of nowhere?
Well, let's just be honest here. Lynch is a true friend to people, so let's get Robert Forster in here.
No, I did like Robert Forster.
Like, there's no reason to have Harry Dean Stanton in season 3, except to get Harry Dean Stanton in season 3.
Yeah, and move Fat Trout all the way to Twin Peaks for some reason.
No, absolutely. I'm just saying that, like, Lynch makes decisions because he wants to work with certain people.
I get that. I get it.
Carl says Jerry got his foot in his mouth. Neil says Hawk for the sheriff in season 4. Well, that's what it says in the final dossier, that Hawk will take over once Frank retires. And Frank has retired.
But I mean, there was a weird thing with the police in season 3 because Hawk was like part of the old regime, and then they had those new cats with, you know, in the back with all their fancy computers, and you know, you had
It was very apparent that Frank was just keeping those other stooges on for his brother, and he had the real police force in the back.
Yep, absolutely. Even Hawk kind of worked in between, but he definitely was still part of, you know, the Harry era.
What the heck was Hawk doing? He was sitting around just taking phone calls from the log lady every night, and then doesn't even show up for the finale. He's too busy zipping up his pants, running in the door when he.
That's what I mean. He's like, I don't know.
I mean, Cooper tells him, if I'm ever lost, I want you to find me. Not if I'm ever lost, stay in the bathroom and look for nickels and not zipping up your pants.
Has something to do with my heritage.
Oh,
I mean, they got to Nido. They did something. They found Nido, and then Andy went to talk to the fireman. So he did something.
Nido is cool. Diane is cool. Nido as Diane is not cool.
Okay, you know what? That's a wow moment. Andy in talking to the fireman. That's a wow moment because I didn't expect that at all.
Yeah, but they dropped it. He comes back. He's like super cool, super confident. And then an episode later, Agent Cooper, is that you?
I mean, but when it happened originally, I was like, oh, wow. Oh, geez, somebody else is ending up there? That's interesting. Andy, the innocent one, is ending up. That makes sense. But
Steve says Bad Coop wanted the coordinates of the White Lodge so he could locate Judy. Well, here's the thing. Bob is inside Mr. C. Okay? Bob was inside Leland.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's true, which I agree with you, that means that Sarah Palmer was not Judy until Judy broke out of that glass.
Yeah.
Because if Sarah was always Judy, then Bob would have been with Judy.
And that would have been the whole thing.
That would have been everything. So that shows you that Mrs. Palmer was not Judy during that whole thing. She was only
Which is why he ends up back in Twin Peaks.
Right. Jamie says, I'm still freaking out over my description of Jerry's little friend, saying, I am not your penis.
That would have been a wow moment for sure.
I would have loved to have discussed that moment on my Howl watch along afterwards, or review after that. Benjamin says, wow moment was Pete going fishing. I was more wowed that they found a lookalike.
That was a nice moment. He went fishing, never got involved in all that chaos.
Benjamin says, but wasn't Judy laid inside of Sarah by a frog moth? No. The frog moth was a beacon for Judy to know where to find her.
Yeah. Something like that.
Because otherwise you'd see frog moths jumping in everybody's mouths. It only was in one person. So.
It was always going to be Sarah and Leland. It was predestined.
Dethroner says, who is the voice that speaks through Sarah when she talks to Major Briggs? That was... Because Sarah does have some trippy things going for her. She's clairvoyant. Because she has that frog moth inside of her, she does have otherworldly abilities. It doesn't mean she's Judy. Ben says it's Wyndham Earl that's talking through Sarah Palmer. Yes, but Wyndham Earl is using the ability of Sarah having strange stuff going on inside of her. And Wyndham Earl, even though he's never mentioned in season 3, he's all through that first 4 episodes because Mr. C is carrying around Wyndham Earl's briefcase with his computer. And it says in the final dossier that Mr. C went and got that briefcase by tracking it to the cabin and then killing Leo. So,
which happened pretty much immediately after the finale, season 2 finale.
Jacob says, so do we all agree that Bob was able to detach himself from Bad Cooper? I think he would periodically leave him over the past 20 years. Bad Coop was busy being a crime boss. You're probably right.
Yeah.
And also, I think he was kind of dormant, too. Because, like, what else does Bob have to do? You know, Mr. C's causing havoc.
Yeah, they made, from what I understood, that, the negative of Cooper was even way worse than Bob. So Bob was just like, he was there just to, eat up the Garmonbosia. He was a parasite, just leashing on all the chaos, Bad Coop, Mr. C.
Richard Horn is worse than Mr. C.
Oh, because Mr. C has intent. Richard Horn is just, he's evil because he's born of evil. I mean, I guess so is Bob, but.
Let's see. Benjamin says there was a hidden bonsai tree in the glass box room. It wasn't hidden. It was right there in front of us. Right on the table.
Bonsai.
Rob says, I was wowed. I'm speaking lower so I don't wake people up. Rob says, I was wowed by Lucy and Andy's bizarre family photo. Yeah, I was too, because it was horrifically terrible.
Yeah.
I thought it was a joke. Like, oh, this is going to come back. Like, because Wally could not be their son. If you go by the timeline, they say that he was born, I think, a month and a half, 2 months after the season 2 finale. She's not even showing yet.
Yeah, that would make him kind of maybe a year older than me.
No, it would have meant that she gave birth to him at 2.5 months. And no preemie can do that.
Lucy wears those big dresses and never know.
No, because she was dancing at the freaking Miss Twin Peaks.
Hiding behind the cover.
She was dancing at Miss Twin Peaks. You think she's gonna be popping out a kid? Let's see. Benjamin says, I'm still confused who Mr. C talks to the briefcase after killing the girl, after killing Daria. Who is he talking to? Jeffries?
Yeah.
On the briefcase.
Yeah. Wasn't it?
No, I think Jeffries.
Philip.
I think Jeffries denies it.
I mean, because he doesn't consider himself Philip Jeffries anymore. He's like the other, whatever. So I think it is him, but he's so like he's non-existent. So he's not really Philip Jeffries.
Carl says it probably is Judy because he says I missed you in New York.
Mm-hmm.
That could be good. Oh, interesting. Benjamin said, could Wally Brando be Gwen's kid? Lucy's sister. She does say she has a boy.
That's possible. And she just, adopted it and just, that's his parents.
That's a good possibility, Ben.
Yeah. I never, nobody's really brought that up that I've seen since. That's interesting.
Jacob says, was anyone else disappointed that Red and Bobby never had a confrontation? There was a lot of potential there. I think it's more interesting that Red being the grandson, Mrs. Truman's grandson, means in that scene in Firewalk With Me, when Shelley sees them, the grandmother and the little boy walking away, that the little boy had already set his sights on Shelley. Like, yeah, gonna hook up with her.
Somebody that's 20 years his senior.
I was hoping that Wally Brando was going to be little Nicky grown up. Jamie says it was someone saying they were Jeffries on the box, but I can't remember who it actually was. Yeah, that was kind of strange.
I'd have to rewatch it. I don't totally remember, but I'm pretty sure it was just like the other Jeffries, other world, non-existent Jeffries.
Jacob says the actor who played Richard Horn was fantastic. I don't think I have ever hated a character that intensely since Nick Stahl and Larry Clark's Bully. I was rooting for his death, Richard Horn. Like get him out of here. Get him out of here. I was happy that he got burnt to a crisp.
Oh.
But I actually
by his own father. His own father faked him out and he got burnt to a crisp.
But I do think Richard Horn should have caused some shit in the Black Lodge. If everyone else go in the Black Lodge, he should have been in there just running the show. And then they could have like killed him in there. That would have been really a double whammy.
Wasn't wearing the ring.
I know. I do agree with Rob. Says that I was absolutely wowed by the scene with the firemen in season 3, the opening scene, because I remember sitting there going, "We're gonna open with this? All right, here we go." And my wife was like, within a minute, she was like, "This scene's dragging," like before it was even over. Because it's like this. The giant says something, and Cooper does this. And then he goes, "It is." Do we really need a 45-minute break before a 45-second break before he says, "It is"?
He's hard of hearing now.
I don't know. It made me laugh though. Yeah. So, all right. So let's wrap this up because then we're talking about all the things we like about season 3. Let's talk about. So, final thoughts. If it's not a season 4, do you think just something having to do with Twin Peaks is being concocted at this moment?
Yeah, especially now. More, I think, if anything, if there wasn't before, I think maybe coronavirus quarantine has maybe kicked things into gear where they weren't before.
Yeah, maybe them all sitting at home. They don't have money rolling in, so they're like, we need to make some fast cash. I know. Twin Peaks season 4.
Twin Peaks. movie or season 4, maybe both.
So
Carrie Page movie and then follow the...
You think it's going to be a series and a movie?
I think it would be cool to keep lore stories to the movie format because, it's just parallel with Firewalk With Me.
Oh, you just don't want to give Cheryl Lee more screen time. I see.
No, I mean, she could be in the show, but I think you tell the Carrie Page story in the movie, and then you continue it in a show with Cooper. What happened when she disappeared?
I want to make it very clear that if they announce an Annie movie,
I didn't mention it because I'm not even going to touch that.
I don't want to even put that out in the air, like Jamie says, but I will say it though. I may be taking a hiatus from YouTube for a while. And I'm going to go get a cabin in the woods. And I'm going to find the nearest felon I can find and put him in a bathrobe and put a shot collar around him. And I'm just going to sit there and eat porridge for like 6 weeks straight.
Jesus Christ.
Benjamin says the kid who threw up in the car had COVID.
Lynch predicted it. There was going to be some kind of crazy disease that it says some people report pooping their pants, not throwing up though.
Good Lord.
You had the wrong way.
What if Lynch announces a Dougie movie? Bennett asks. You want to see a Dougie Jones movie? What about it? Robert says, sorry, I almost called you Roberto. Robert says, an Evelyn Marsh movie. We already got it. It's called Lost Highway. Jamie says, porridge what? I say, please, sir, can I have some more? That's old. That's old. That's old school. Do you understand that reference, Joey?
Oliver Twist?
Yeah. Good job.
I've read all Dickens books.
That's funny. I think all the rumors are true. Because when Miguel Ferrer was told by David Lynch, did you hear about the Twin Peaks rumors? Miguel Ferrer says, I have. And Lynch said, they're all true. So remember the rumors were Firewalk With Me, director's cut, full version. There's going to be a limited series. There's going to be a movie. Remember, because I came out and said there's going to be a movie and a series, and everyone laughed at me. And I think they're going to recut season 3 for something. I think they're going to do something with missing footage because they've never released any deleted scenes from season 3. I think they're going to do something with season 3 and missing footage.
I still think there's going to be like a Frankenstein Firewalk With Me. With footage they didn't use and possibly new footage. And maybe get rid of that ending from Firewalk With Me. With Laura and Cooper standing there.
Yeah. Jacob says, I remember watching the scene with my ex where Richard terrorizes his grandmother. She was pretty rattled by it. Really effective sequence. I was rattled because I was trying to figure out why the scene was even in the show.
Hello, Johnny.
And I say that because the original scene was supposed to be him attacking his mother, not his grandmother.
Yeah. But Lynch went another way with Audrey.
Well, no, because I guess Sherilyn asked him to make that change.
Oh, did she? I didn't know that.
From what I hear. I think that scene would have shocked everybody if that was Audrey's introduction to season 3, getting beaten up by her own son. Yeah.
Pretty horrific, even still.
Carl says missing footage will explain everything.
I think it's going to mess things up a whole lot more, honestly.
Fireman shown in the red room looks new. But then he's saying, remember backwards, could just be rehearsing with the other set nearby. No, they actually shot footage of the fireman in the red room for season 3.
That's why I think there's going to be some freakazoid cut of something coming out. Well, I think there's going to be stuff from season 3 that either they didn't use and they're going to make a crazy Firewalk With Me cut that combines all of it. And maybe do some slight edits that, like, if you're good, you'll recognize differences, and to kind of make it work with season 3, because it's like you said, season 3 validates Firewalk With Me. So I think if they kind of reverse engineer Firewalk With Me to really work in tandem with season 3, I have a suspicion that if we're going to get another version of Firewalk With Me, it's not going to be some super edit with old footage. I think it's going to be, like I'm saying, like a Frankenstein.
They need to somehow, I don't care if she's older now, they need to find a way to put Audrey Horn into Firewalk With Me. And maybe they could talk Beamer into finally shooting those Ben Horn scenes he refused to do.
I mean, it's going to be hard because it's 30 years later, but
I don't care.
But I could see them doing something with like the firemen, and obviously you probably can't do anything with little man, but I don't know. I feel like a Frankenstein cut of Firewalk With Me that integrates season 3 might be if they're gonna release a new cut, I think it's gonna be that.
So I'm gonna have to buy a Firewalk With Me for like the 20th time.
Yeah, I'm gonna have 7 versions of that movie.
Jesus.
But again, if it's different enough, it might might be worth it.
Maybe Lynch will combine Inland Empire with season 3.
Yeah. There you go.
Robert says they refilmed for Blade Runner. That worked.
For Final Cut. Yeah, that's what I'm kind of thinking. It's going to be like this. They have this new stuff, and they're just going to.
I mean, the season 3 missing pieces, those were not edited for Firewalk With Me. It's not like they had those on the cutting room floor and they said, "Oh, let's just show you these." They were re-edited by Lynch because it says edited by David Lynch. It does not say edited by Mary Sweeney, and Mary Sweeney cut Firewalk With Me.
That's why I think there's going to be... And then you have the scene with James and Laura in season 3. I mean, he pulled something from Firewalk With Me to put in season 3. So I could see him going back and tying it in.
I agree, Lewis. He says, what about the bloody pizza dough scene? Absolutely. You know when he's putting that on Laura Dern's face?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we never saw that either.
But I could see a reworking of Firewalk With Me that takes in the events of season 3. You have Firewalk With Me, then you watch this version after season 3, and then there's all this new set of stuff that comes. You continue with Carrie Page.
So what you're saying is, when I heard there was going to be a series and a movie, when I heard they were going to re-edit season 3, and then Sabrina announced a director's cut of Firewalk With Me back in 2015. It may all be the same thing. That's amazing.
That's my suspicion, because I think the fact that he put Firewalk With Me in season 3, and I think there's obviously we know they have stuff that they didn't put in that could probably fit in Firewalk With Me, at least towards the end when Cooper grabs Laura. I could see them. I could see him totally reworking Firewalk With Me as a sequel to The Return, with the new sort of timeline or whatever you want to call it.
Top says, who was the little girl who lived down the lane? Jodie Foster. Rob wants to know why his Firewalk With Me, the ride at Universal Studios, hasn't happened.
Oh, if there was ever like a ride, that'd be pretty sweet. I don't know what you would ride, but
Laura Palmer.
No, you can't. You're not going to get that. I'm sorry. It was Laura Dern. That
would have been great. Do you want to sit on Laura's face or on her knees? Because that's the ride.
Jesus Christ. Drive through Twin Peaks. They could pipe pine scent into the room.
Can we go through a cloud of baby laxatives?
You do whatever you want.
Jacob says, do we know why Sherilyn wanted to change the scene? She didn't think Audrey would put up with that. Ben says, what if Lynch recuts everything into one film that's 44 hours long?
I don't know about everything, but I think the sequel to The Return is going to be Firewalk With Me. I'm starting to really think the sequel to The Return is going to be Firewalk With Me, with that end part changed to fit in with the new timeline or whatever, with Cooper saving her after she leaves Bobby, and then you have a whole new ending.
That would make me
I feel
cry.
like that's totally possible.
That would make me cry. I would literally cry if they did that, like in a good way. Like, that's genius.
I could see it happening. Like, oh, you're putting out Firewalk With Me. What do you mean you're putting out Firewalk With Me? You put it out 100 times. What do you? No, this is a new Firewalk With Me.
Yeah, they could do it like two fired, two walk with me. It'd be awesome. Like, they could do it like that, and then we could do Twin Peaks Tokyo Drift.
I mean, what you do is you just promote it Firewalk With Me backwards, and then people have to pronounce that. That's the title. Marketing ideas here, take them.
That would be, yeah. We are giving like free publicity and free marketing stuff for Showtime all the time. So, and
Just
they're
have,
gonna good.
I was gonna say, just have everything reversed. Like this is the reverse Firewalk. This is like whatever Firewalk With Me. I don't know.
Okay, so here's a pressing question before we wrap this up. Do you think CBS, Showtime, Lynch Frost Productions, whatever, do you think after Queen of Hearts comes out and people like it, don't like it, whatever they're going to do you think that they will begin to market Annie Blackburn merch after it comes out? Like if it goes over really well?
Sure. I've already told people I think they're not tapping into the secondary and tertiary characters enough when it comes to the merch.
But do you what do you, let's say 70%, over or under?
I don't think they would do it exactly. That it'd probably be a little bit before, or enough time is going to pass, and then they'll drop it. If they drop it around the time it's supposed to come out,
no, they won't do that. But I'm saying within a year of it coming out, do you see all of a sudden Heather Graham merchandise coming out?
I mean, they should absolutely have an "I'm fine" or you're supposed to say "I'm fine" shirt or whatever out, because I think that would sell like gangbusters.
You know, when I made my my crowdfunding poster, people freaked out when I dropped that, right? When I had the doll and it said a thing about "I'm fine." Now that's everywhere. If you type in Annie Blackburn gifts, images, that is always coming up now. So people really took that poster concept to heart.
Let's see. I'm gonna search. Gonna test this. Oh. Oh yeah, there it is. The one I made.
Oh, you made one too?
Yeah, that one where the trees are in the background with the doll. Didn't I make that one? I made one of them. Oh yeah, it's there. It's there though.
How can Screen Rant? Ben in the chat says that Screen Rant
really
did a whole article about yeah, they did a whole article about Annie Blackburn, and they didn't mention my movie.
Oh,
I'm very
what
bummed
happened to Annie in Twin Peaks 2017?
I'm very bummed about that. Let me hang on a second. This is some BS. This is some BS right here. They don't really go into much. I mean, it's just kind of the same stuff that everyone talks about. But
seems like it's more about Heather Graham.
No, but it's not like my project is like some thing that no one's ever heard of. It was like the biggest thing happening in the fan community. Like, wow. And there's the trailer and everything, and I've been talking it up while I've been making the film. Wow, I can't believe that my film isn't on Screen Rant's radar. No, I'm serious, because like all you gotta do is type in Annie Blackburn on Twitter and the trailers are coming up, you know?
You gotta find out.
I'm mad now.
They don't even mention the final dossier, do they?
Oh, no,
I don't know. I don't know who wrote this.
That makes me so sad. It makes me feel like I'm going to put my film out and no one's going to notice. I worked my ass off for 3 years. Now no one's gonna notice. Screen Rant doesn't even notice.
I don't know if.
Say something kind, Joey. Say something kind.
I don't know if that's a good indicator of how it's gonna do if Screen Rant doesn't notice. I wouldn't say that's I wouldn't say that's necessarily related.
Okay, first of all, there's 40 people watching right now. 40 people. It's a good number. If you're not subscribed to myself or Joey's channel, please do. Also, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. And let me know in the chat, when Queen of Hearts comes out, will you post it? Will you share it? Will you let people know about it? Like Screen Rant. Ben says, we still need answers about Annie Blackburn. Well, that's what my film's about.
November what? What date is it?
I'm not giving a date anymore. It's supposed to be November 10th. I'm still shooting for November 10th. However, COVID has really gotten in the way in terms of...
Sure.
If it doesn't come out November 10th, it will come out soon after November 10th. It'll come out this year. Hello. Hello. Oh,
is my internet? I think my
back.
internet is going.
Robert says, I'll plug it 30 times more than Screen Rant does. Rob says, we'll make sure the film explodes. Yay! Almighty Seaver says, thumbs up sent your way, and I can't wait to share Queen of Hearts with everyone I know who will listen. Well, that's going to be very few. So just post it everywhere. Because we just got to get people to notice. And, at first they're going to be like, fan film. Oh, that's ridiculous. Only David Lynch can make Twin Peaks. And, but I mean, come on. A lot of people came together to make this film a reality. And then it almost didn't become a reality. And then it did. And now I'm editing it. Jacob says, I have 0 following, but I'll retweet it and stuff. Well, I appreciate that.
We're almost up to 3K fans in the Twin Peaks Universe Facebook group, so that's going up there for sure. Pin it there.
Dethroner says, I will share Queen of Hearts for sure. Been looking forward to watching it. Almighty says, I'll spam the hell out of the Twin Peaks subreddit. So there are like 4 or 5 postings in Reddit about Queen of Hearts, but no one's written about it in like 2 years. But there's always like, have you heard about this? Yeah, I've heard about this. And then that's it.
I haven't been on the Twin Peaks subreddit in a while. Gotta check it out.
Jamie says, you have my support always. I'll promote it diligently. Benjamin says this movie is going to be amazing. So here's the thing. So I'm still editing it. I'm about a week and a half away from having the assembly cut done. Then I have to, tighten it up and all that. And then I have to do sound and effects and all that stuff. But I am very, very happy with how it's coming out so far. And if I'm happy, then I think other people will be happy, because how serious I take this. So, and I know you guys have all seen the trailer, so that makes me happy. And as you can see from the trailer, we worked really hard on this. And thank God, when COVID hit, we only had a week left to film, so we could finish it up. Otherwise, we would have been screwed.
If anybody hasn't seen the video, you with the actress that plays Annie, I'm forgetting her name right now, but
Maddie.
If you haven't watched that video, go watch that video. It was a really cool video they did together. Recommending it. Give you a little bit more insight into the process.
Dethroner says, They've been small trailers, and I think Lynchland shared it a few times. There's been like 1,000 trailers for this thing. So, Jacob says, I started watching your stuff in 2016. I've been anticipating you doing this for a long time. Me too. Almighty says, the subreddit has fallen off, but there are a lot of true fans waiting for good content, and I can't wait to share this with them. The good content still gets tons of eyeballs. So I will say this. I can't go into too much detail because I'm still working on it. You guys are going to be pretty... I don't know if you're going to like it or not like it, whatever. But I think you will be very, very happy with how much work went into this thing. I mean, like, you're going to feel it in every frame. Like, oh, that couldn't have been easy to do. That certainly wasn't, that must have taken a while. So as a Twin Peaks fan, from me to you, whether they announce a season 4, a movie, a book, I don't know. But at least you're going to get something having to do with Twin Peaks this year. So
maybe we'll get another set of trading cards.
Yeah. Jamie's very nice. Says she saw my other movie, and I have talent. Thank you, Jamie. I saw your golf cart video the other day when you filmed at night, and she had a flashlight on, and it looked like the flashlight images in Twin Peaks when they're running through the woods. It was
hawk light.
So, Dethroner says, are you going to render at 24 frames? I think 30 would look less film-like. So I've done some tests, and I'm going to have to go with 30.
Really?
Yeah. 24, there's a jitteriness to it. I'm not happy with it. And I'd rather it look as crisp and clear as possible. And yeah, I mean, it may not look like film, but that's something I can live with, considering how cool it's going to be. Because it will be like right there, super clear.
I mean, also the YouTube is going to compress it a little bit, so you have to compensate for that.
Right. Jacob says, what other movie? I made a film that has never been released, but I did a watch along on my channel with it. So Jamie watched it then. It hasn't been released because it was never meant to be released.
I want to watch it.
It was never meant to be released. It was supposed to be just a like a calling card kind of thing. So I made it with the intention of never going for wide release. But then people started liking it, and I started sending it to like horror blogs and horror journalists, and they were all like talking about it. And now it's stuck on a hard drive, and I can't get it off. So,
oh, jeez.
It's on my Apple G5, and my Apple G5 Power Mac is gone. It won't even turn on anymore. So I have it sitting on a hard drive. So I have like one copy on a burnt disc, and the rest of it's like, so I wanted to put it up on YouTube just to have something of it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Almighty says, I know I will appreciate it from top to bottom. I can't wait for it. Really happy for you and proud you completed such a huge project. Getting it done is so hard, and you deserve all the respect. Joey knows how hard it was.
I told you it was going to happen, but it's been a lot of...
Did you watch Take the Rings video the other day? He admitted on camera that he tried to talk me out of making it. He did. There were a lot of people like when things were going haywire. They're just like, "Do you have to make this? I mean, do you want? You know what I mean? Do you? You know?" And I was like, "Yeah, I really want to because I'm in love with it." And I think if I'm in love with it, I think people will see why I fell in love with it. And
I knew you were. That's why I wanted to make sure that you didn't give up on it.
Yeah. Almighty says, Red Letter Media, Jay is a big Lynch fan. Oh yeah, absolutely he is. Absolutely. He actually just tweeted about Lynch the other day. Called him a national treasure. So,
I don't really watch Red Letter.
They're great. But yeah, they did a whole breakdown of Firewalk With Me and Eraserhead.
I think I might have seen the Firewalk With Me episode.
Yeah, it's got like 500,000 views. Yeah, but so I don't know what's gonna happen with Twin Peaks, but I do know one thing: Queen of Hearts will get done eventually, and at least you'll have something that takes place in the world. It may not be official canon, but you know, at least you know that you'll get some vibes. So,
You'll get some Twin Peaks before it's all gone.
Benjamin says, "I talked you into it." You were one of them that talked me into it. Absolutely.
I still don't. I told Cameron I didn't want to know. I wanted to know as little as possible. I only wanted to know what I needed to know at specific times. But overall, I want to go into it blind still, so that I just see it when it comes out, and that's how I see it.
What do you think of what you know and what you've seen? Like, if you're a Twin Peaks fan, what do you think they should be prepared for without, no spoilers, but just like the vibe? What do you think they should be excited about?
Well, I'm excited about Cooper Wyndham Earl things, which isn't a spoiler. There's plenty of, set shots and stills of that. And some cool artwork that I saw the other day. I don't know who did the artwork, but that artwork was really cool with them playing chess.
Oh yeah, Maya. Yeah.
I mean, but people, I think if you watch that last trailer, you'll get from what I've seen, that trailer does a good job of kind of putting you in there, and that's what it's going to be. I mean, from the most part, that's kind of the vibe I was getting, and that trailer kind of reinforced what I was thinking already. So I think if you haven't watched that trailer, go watch that trailer. If you're curious and you want to know what the vibe is going to be, or what you might see.
I think the vibe from that trailer is exactly what I want it to be, which is this takes place in the world of Twin Peaks, but it is not trying to be David Lynch.
Yeah, I don't get. The characters are Twin Peaks. I mean, I don't know what other kind of maybe Lynch-esque things you might pull off in that or try, because there's definitely a distinction. I didn't get straight up Lynch vibes from the trailer. There's notable locations,
but you know who everybody is.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And that's what I love is like when I post a picture on the Facebook page, I don't even have to post who people are. People just naturally know like who they are.
And it's interesting because they say you make a good character, and I think it's like a comic book thing. If you could tell who they are by their silhouette, and I think that picture in front of them with them in front of the aquarium,
there we go,
does a good job of that. Like in context, if you look at those characters, you know who you're looking at.
That's Cooper and Caroline.
And I always like that quote because when I decide to go make characters, now I think, what does this character look like? What do they dress like? How do they, how do they walk? How do they talk? How do they move? And I think the whole silhouette thing, like a character by their silhouette, is a big thing for me now.
Well, because
and I know
Caroline has the hair.
Yeah. No, that's what I mean. You could tell who these characters are. That could have been a still from any, maybe a season 4 promo. I don't know. It's just distinction. It's just you could tell who those characters are is what I'm trying to say. You know who those characters are even by the silhouette. So you'll know who the characters are, and you'll get that vibe from watching it. Again, I don't know. I didn't read the script. I've seen some extra things, but mostly I've seen what everybody else has seen in the trailers and the promos and stuff. So
no, Joey does not have a cameo. Almighty says, "Is there any ominous whooshing in this film?" I have no idea. I haven't done the sound work, but maybe I'll put one in for you. Almighty Seaver says, "What is the first line spoken in Queen Hearts? Can you give us that taste?" You want to know what the first line is of Queen Hearts? I'll tell you. Yeah. Wouldn't that be hilarious? Tell me in the chat if you guys really want to know, because I don't want to send out spoilers if you want to know what the first line is.
Let us know. Maybe I would have made a cameo if I actually was able to get up there and help, but that never happened, unfortunately.
No, you live too far away.
Yeah.
But I really do hope that maybe when this film comes out, that you'll be inspired to make something like this. Maybe not the scale, but something in the world.
I have an idea for something small.
Chris thinks that I'm fine.
It is late on the East Coast, so.
Almighty says, we want to know. Almighty says, how about some Wyndham Earl? I don't have Facebook and only follow via these live streams, so I don't mean to backtrack. Just want some info. So hype. Well, I don't know what to say about Wyndham Earl. He's in it. Watch the trailers.
Yeah, watch the trailer. Watch the trailer.
Chris says she repeats it wildly, like, how's Annie, how's Annie, how's Annie. That's cute. I like that. Jamie says, the first line is the one time I will make an exception for no spoilers. Go for it. So the first line, hopefully, again, I haven't edited the film yet, so I don't know if this will end up making the cut or not, but I will go by the script. And this is a nod to all you OG fans out there. So Joey's not one of them.
No.
But anyone...
I'm only the past decade. I started in 2010.
So the first line, I got the script right here. So just real quick. In 1990, 1991, when Twin Peaks was on, Thursday nights at 9, then Saturday nights at 10. Then it bounced around a little bit more. But it always began the same way. Always began the same way. And I thought, if I ever got to make Queen of Hearts a reality, it would have to begin this way, with this line. And the line is, previously on Twin Peaks.
Yeah, I wasn't around for that.
No, but it was always Kyle MacLachlan coming out going, previously on Twin Peaks, and then we'd get the recap.
Oh, look at that.
So Queen of Hearts begins with a previously on Twin Peaks. Unfortunately, we were not able to film what was going to be the next part because of everything. But there will be something in substitution.
Okay.
So
there you go.
Yeah, but we weren't able to
previously on Twin Peaks.
Yes. Almighty says, haha, perfect first line and perfect for no spoilers. Oh, no spoilers. But as a Twin Peaks fan, I just know that would make me so giddy inside if you began the movie and it just started with previously on Twin Peaks. I'd be like, yes, because I would feel like they understand. They understand.
Yeah, I never got that. I got binge. And watch it all at once.
Yeah. Jamie says, wow, so are we going to get a recap? So there's a short answer to that, which is kind of no, because we weren't able to film a lot of the stuff we wanted to film for that. But you will get something akin to it, so I can still kind of have that beat in the film. Chris says, are we going to see coffee commercials, like Georgia coffee commercials? So I jokingly would say to Maddie, should we stop this wasn't in the script, but I said, should we stop the movie like every 15 minutes and go to a commercial break and have like Lucy going, grab your coffee and donuts, Twin Peaks will be right back. You know what I mean? It's just like cute. And we both agreed no, because it would ruin the whole like escalation of the film. But it would be cute. That would be cute. Maybe I'll make multiple versions. How about that?
Make a cute cut.
Make a cute cut. Yeah. Almighty says, are you going to use Kyle's soundbite for that line? Here's the problem. He never recorded a clean track. It's always with dialogue going on underneath it, music going on underneath it. And I can't extract the dialogue. Now, if one of you out there who's super cool with technology is able to extract a clean, go for it. You got the videos right there. If you can pull out try it.
Is it on the VHSs?
Yeah, yes, it is. All the recaps. Yeah. Try episode 4 of season 1. I think that's going to be the cleanest one we can get. However, I haven't been able to do it yet. So if I'm unable to do Kyle, I'll have to find something else. So
I'll see if I could get it.
That would be amazing. But yeah, so we're going to wrap this up in a few minutes, but if you have any last comments or questions, throw them in there right now, and then we will go on our way. But Joey and I will do another video soon because we got to talk about the DC trailers.
Absolutely.
Almighty says we should get Kyle to put one online now.
Can you say previously on Twin Peaks into a microphone for us, please?
Pretty please, come on. Is he on Fiverr? Will he do it for Fiverr on Fiverr? Is he on Cameo?
He's not on Cameo. Not yet.
That would be amazing.
He's still doing big movies. He doesn't need Cameo money yet.
Can you imagine though if we got him to say that on Cameo? It'd be beautiful.
I think the only ones that are on Cameo right now are Cheryl and Fenn. I forgot who else. Let's see. I was thinking about doing a cameo for somebody or something.
You gotta get some viewers watching your YouTube channel first before you start doing Cameo, my friend.
No, not me. I'm not doing Cameo.
Oh, I thought you said you.
No. Nobody would pay for a cameo from me. Jesus.
That's why I don't have one. I'm like, who the heck would pay for that? Adamo said,
Kimmy Robertson is the only other one. And Nicole La Liberte.
I don't want Daria saying it. No offense, but it just wouldn't.
Only Twin Peaks people on there.
Adamo says, does Wyndham Earl go insane due to Caroline's death, or was there more to the story? I can't recall. It's been years. So after Caroline's death is when they take him to the institution. But then Cooper tells Harry in the show that he feels that Wyndham Earl feigned the madness to go to the institution to keep himself possibly out of jail. So Jacob says, I always felt that Earl was more menacing in the finale for season 2. You going to take that approach with this character or make him more of a goofball like he was for most of the series? Wyndham Earl will not be prancing around in his pajamas in this movie. So take from that what you will. Dethroner says, can't extract. Can EQ, what does that mean? Equilibrium? With just
equalize,
equalize with just mid turned up for voice, but we'll have to replace with music to cut any existing music. Hey, if someone can do it, great. If not, then I'll find.
I'm gonna try, but I'm trying to get as clean as possible.
I'm still editing, so take your time. And Almighty says, I just want to say I appreciate you. That is very kind. That's very kind, considering that for so long, Joey and I would do these videos, and we'd be attacked by like 40 trolls in the chat. Remember those days?
Yeah, 2018. Most of 2018.
No, it was after. It was August 2018. I remember like it was yesterday. But yeah, I'm really excited. Whether Twin Peaks comes back, whether it's another David Lynch thing, whether Queen of Hearts is coming out. Look, 2020 has been a terrible crap year, but I have a feeling we'll at least have some good news. Bill says, have your Cooper do it. No. No. Because I want to get that old school feeling. And he's a good guy, but he's young. You know what I mean? Like I want it to feel like I like the way I used to see the show.
Right out of the 80s.
Jacob says, which casting was the most difficult? I'm betting Coop. Joey, who do you think was the hardest person to cast in this thing?
Annie.
Probably. We went through 4 of them.
I was gonna say.
We went.
Seems like you landed on a really good one, but
she's fantastic. But I don't think Annie was that hard to cast. She was just hard to keep.
Okay. That's fair.
Dethroner says Kyle did the car scene for Instagram. Can use that. No. Because this was not Cooper. This was Kyle saying previously on Twin Peaks. So Cooper was difficult because Kyle MacLachlan is Agent Cooper. You know what I mean? But I never was trying to go for Kyle MacLachlan's Cooper, because it is my belief that Agent Cooper doesn't fully become Agent Cooper until after the events of Wyndham Earl and Caroline and all that stuff. So he has to kind of go through that whole rite of passage. Mm-hmm. So my version of Cooper is, while there is Cooper in there, obviously, it's more Blue Velvet. It's more Jeffrey Beaumont.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's still Agent Cooper, but it's not.
He's more kiddish, I'm assuming, or a little bit more innocent.
Yeah, he doesn't know how the world works just yet.
Yeah.
The hardest person to cast, you know what? It wasn't a hard casting. It was keeping everybody because it took so long to find everybody.
That's what I assumed. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But this has been fun. Thank you, Joey. I really appreciate it. We still have nearly 40 people watching right now.
I haven't done one like this in a long time.
I haven't seen this many people in our chat talking about Twin Peaks in a long time. So I'm happy to see that people are still interested in talking about this subject.
They're out there. I mean, we still are, so somebody else must be.
Yeah. Well, it's good. It's good. Keep
it alive, people.
Keep it alive, and just keep your fingers crossed with everything and all that. So, Joey, this is where people can find you on social media, but I know you're on Instagram too. So
it's the same. It's just at Joey Pedras. Whichever you prefer, come say hi. I'm pretty nice, I think. I'll chat about nonsense.
So I got this really lovely comment the other day. I have to just read this out to you. It says, this is from Juggernaut Omnimedia. Says, I have been watching your videos for 4 years. I comment occasionally to agree and even disagree. Never have you been mean to me, even when we disagreed. I am fascinated that people ever said lies about you.
Yeah, I know Juggernaut. He's a good dude.
That's what I'm saying. Like, when this whole thing happened, was like, that's a troll channel. I'm like, where the hell did you get that from?
I mean, we like to kid around, but I wouldn't call it a troll channel.
I'm the furthest thing from a troll channel. Like, I'm not out here like berating people in our chat. Yes, if you like Inland Empire, I will make fun of you, but I also own it. So what does that say about me?
Exactly. It's kind of like you can only make fun of it because it's like your younger sibling. Only I can make fun of it. It's kind of that thing.
I feel like we're a family, and so we can kind of push each other around and be because it's all in good fun. It's all in good fun.
Sure.
You know, I don't sit there and go on social media like, don't listen to that asshole. He likes Inland Empire.
I know I'm a millennial, but I'm not like not the I'm not oversensitive stereotype kind of thing. I could take it. I could take a little ribbing. I'm also from New Jersey, so it happens naturally.
Adamo says, does Denise, Bryson, or Dennis come into Queen of Hearts? I can't go there. I can't talk. I can't say anything about it. But not so much because of the character, but I don't want to give away like stuff. So, but anyway, but no. Yeah. Anyway, it's just it's interesting that somebody asked me that question because, you know, it's a good question. But anyway, this is how you guys can find me on social media and follow us on YouTube. I need to get my subs up. Joey needs to get his subs up.
Yeah, it's been kind of frozen.
If anything, if there is a season 4, you better believe I'm getting these subs up to like 25,000 this year time.
Absolutely.
I will do 24-hour streams for like 6 weeks straight.
Talk Twin Peaks till I'm blue in the face, which we kind of did anyway, but
I will have both legs in cramps. I will be laying on the ground, but I will have multiple cameras filming my demise as I continue to talk Twin Peaks until I get to 25,000 subs.
That would be nice. That would be nice.
It would be. It would be. But,
nice.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for watching. I really appreciate it. And Chris says, you're both nice. So.
You're nice, Chris.
Thank you. Thumbs up. All right. See you guys later. Have a good night. Take care. Thanks, everything. Thank you, everybody, for everything. I'll see you later.